So there's this clip going viral online of a dozen women being asked the following question: do we need men? Most answered very quickly, no.
Because men are useless.
This headline from The Hill, it caught my eye. Most young men are single. Most young women are not.
Young men have fallen faster than any demographic in America over the last 40 years.
It's a different world now. Like, we don't need men the way that they used to.
Nobody needs men!
The future is female.
Men and women are drifting further apart, and society is crumbling because of it.
A fascinating debate has broken out about the value of marriage.
You've kind of got the trad-con versus red pill thing.
This men's rights crowd that sometimes just goes too far the other way.
You need to stop acting like grown boys and infants and actually become men.
Marriage is a bond, and it's a sacred bond.
It's a machine designed to extract resources from you.
Now many of the red-pilled have taken the position that it's bad for men to get married.
Hannah Pearl Davis, or just Pearly things.
One of the most controversial faces in all of the internet.
She goes on to say that marriage is a terrible deal for men.
Because if me and you were in a business contract, you would never sign a contract where I am paid to leave.
Gee, what could go wrong there?
74% or something of divorces are initiated by women. Men have everything to lose, primarily their own children.
Men get killed by the courts and by divorce laws.
I had no idea that courts of family law were courts of equity, not courts of law.
Because in family court, you don't need evidence to accuse someone of abuse. You need no evidence. When you guys say get married young, a lot of these men don't know what they're signing up for, and you're not going to be there when their entire life falls apart. I interview them on the other side.
I didn't meet my son until he was 15 months old.
How much did you spend trying to get him back?
On legal fees alone was about $200,000.
Before you know it, you're homeless. You're literally just thrown out onto the street.
We absolutely reinforce bad behavior from women.
Wives are taught to leave their husbands, and then daughters grow up without their fathers.
Family is the foundation of society.
Every problem in society comes from single mother homes.
A lot of women will just chase this negative rabbit hole of happiness, endless happiness.
Feminism's biggest failures is it lies to women. We tell women to date as many guys as possible. We tell them to put off family into marriage.
You are allowed to leave your perfect husband. You are allowed to end a relationship with a really great boyfriend.
Oh, freeze your eggs, have an abortion. What? You're evil.
I don't think there's anything else in life that we actually ever go into preparing to fail. Right. Like if you have the mentality of this is going to go wrong and be pessimistic, naturally the outcome is going to be that it's going to fail anyway. Yeah. It's self-sabotage. And that's the thing, like women are so willing to leave marriages because they're not happy. This is not about happiness. The most important thing is the children. And the problem is we have a modern society where it's me, my feelings, leave when I feel like it, instead of doing what's best for the kids.
This myth that we live in an age of male privilege. Where's my male privilege?
They think, well, men have all the rights. They have all the power.
Privileged patriarchal system that we have.
Why doesn't our society care about men's rights?
I have no friends,
No wife, and no social life.
Men are alone in this situation. Men are homeless. Men are thinking about eating guns.
I've seen so many men on the brink of suicide, and they didn't do anything wrong.
How are you equal if the men are the ones that have to fight and die to defend the country? The men are the ones that build and maintain all the infrastructure.
Women are helplessly dependent upon men.
The so-called deaths of despair from suicide, overdose, or alcohol, 3 times higher among men than among women.
Culture is telling men, you are no good.
You got to get your act together.
I think men have failed themselves.
What kind of a man are you? What kind of a woman are you going to attract?
If men are in trouble, so are women.
Everybody knows this is a huge problem, but nobody wants to admit it.
Every single woman at the table said they wanted a man.
500K,
500K,
300K,
300K,
200K.
Am I crazy?
Everything is really set up against you to fail as a man.
If men make less than women, women don't want to marry them.
So you know who wants more economically and emotionally viable men? Women.
I don't want to be an independent woman anymore.
I don't want to be a strong, independent woman.
I'm over it.
When is it going to be my turn?
Where are we meeting the men that don't stop?
I can't keep having these same conversations.
The only simp here is you, Pearl. You simp for men.
I think you simp for women.
She's a provocateur. She says stupid stuff, but Pearl is right about this.
It's already happening. It's just not out in the open yet.
Now it's just hookup culture is going to be our fairy tale ending because men don't want a wife and women can't find a husband.
The future, if everybody follows your path, is there is no future.
We go into population decline and our economy goes into decline.
Civilization will crumble.
The American story does not end well. This is an existential crisis, failing young men.
What up? What up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pearl Daily here on the Audacity Network. So that was my documentary that I am making called What's in It for Men. Unfortunately, getting demonetized really derailed this in the past year. Women decided to flag my channel because of the topics that I talk about, and really, they succeeded. When women are spiteful, they can and do and will try to ruin your life. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, just when. And I really do enjoy doing what I do. I really enjoy being honest, but unfortunately, you do need funding to do that. So our goal is to raise $1 million for this documentary. That's a super lofty goal. Some would say maybe unreachable. Maybe it is. I don't know. The reason being is if I can raise that much, I can hire Matt Walsh's team from the same team. I don't want to say his team, but the same team that produced What is a Woman? That's the quote they gave us. However, if we get to around 100 to 150K, that will get the documentary done. Just like that's like the lower quotes I've gotten. So right now, the GoFundMe, the link to this is in the description. We're at $18,000. Now, I am ultimately super grateful that you guys gave this to me to begin with. There's two routes we can go. We can either hire someone else or maybe bring a full-time person in-house. And I'm open to either of those options. If you guys have a bigger donation that you want to do, we're open to profit share. We're open to some sort of advertisement that we could potentially do. Just pearlythings@gmail.com. Second announcement is that we are launching our school academy tomorrow. I am allowing you guys, if you sign up now on the website, which is theaudacitynetwork.com, the link to that is also in the description. It should be the second link. That is going to have information on how you guys can get custody. It's going to improve your love life, your money, and essentially all of these smart, intelligent guests that I've made over the years are going to be teaching you different things. I have a child support officer that's telling you guys how to lower and avoid child support. That's going on. There's a private investigator coming on Friday to teach you guys how to catch your girl cheating. It's better to test her before you marry her, right? So if you guys can, feel free. Thank you to B.R. Merrick for this $1,000 donation. That's the top donation this week. We really appreciate it. Okay, so we're a little bit earlier today. My little sister is graduating high school. She's the last one, so I do have to make that. But today we're talking about single mothers. So as you guys know, Sunday was Mother's Day. But when the majority of kids are born out of wedlock and into single mother homes, and kids are, and parents are breaking up before the age of 5, really, we should just change the national name to Single Mother's Day. So I was traveling and I wasn't able to do my Mother's Day special, so now here I am. This is going to be the dedication to Single Mother's Day. Modern women are still perpetuating this narrative that being a mother is the most difficult job in the world. You see women saying this all the time on podcasts, on TV. It's everywhere. Men work the dangerous jobs in society. They build the buildings. They work on the oil rigs. They do the plumbing. And they've made all these conveniences that make life easier for women. But it's dismissed by women because they give birth? Dogs give birth. Do we revere dogs super highly? Do we revere bitches? Right? I'm hilarious. I don't care what anyone says. Modern women also say that all women are more nurturing because of the sexes, right? Because they give birth to children, they're automatically more nurturing. But, as we know, that's not true. If you look at the stats, the most likely person to abuse and murder children is almost always women. So much so that when there's an infanticide, meaning that a child dies within the first year of life, do you know who's most responsible? Do you know who the police don't even look for? A man. They look for the women. It's most likely the mother. And they don't even throw these women that are throwing their kids in dumpsters in jail. I just saw a case recently of a woman that got like 20 years. I couldn't even believe it. I didn't think it was possible for women to go to jail. So the grim reality is that modern mothers are some of the coldest, most callous, the most selfish women in the history of humankind. These mothers have their children out of wedlock. They take from society, even though they have government benefits and put their own selfish desires ahead of the needs of the children. Even the married mothers emotionally and verbally abuse their husbands, belittling their efforts and airing out all of their marital and personal business on social media. So this Mother's Day, let's look at some of these mothers. The mothers that paint the picture of how awful modern mothers are in 2025. This will be a call-in show, so I'm going to drop you a link, and you can share any stories of how awful your mother was to you, or maybe you had a saint, right? You can tell me that too. Society is not afraid to hold fathers accountable for their shortcomings, but they have yet to do so with mothers. I hope that one day mothers will be held to the level of scrutiny that fathers have had to endure. Is it going to happen? I'm not going to hold my breath, but hey, you never know. You never know. All right, so number one.
My abusive mother
Okay, well, we're going to do the first one.
My abusive mother texted me this morning. Let's break down her message, shall we? Just thinking about you. I hope you're doing well. I think about you every day. I just don't know how to talk to you. I feel like anything I say, no matter how positive my intentions, are interpreted as negative. I can't change your perception. I can only tell you that I have always wanted the best for you. Anything I've done that has been hurtful was just me being a stupid human. My intentions for you, or for your life, have always been for you to be happy and successful, whatever that means for you. All right, let's break this down line by line. She starts off with a couple of lines to create a sense of closeness and familiarity, and then goes right into, I don't know how to talk to you. This is the woman who has emotionally abused and neglected me, and medically neglected me for my whole life. The reason I don't talk to her is because any amount of information that I give her, good or bad, will be used to tear me down. That's why I gray rock her and why I give her nothing, and why most of the time I just don't respond to her. This whole message is also a really good example of Darvo. Already she has placed herself in the role of the victim, the mother who is trying so hard.
Block her. I don't know why you guys don't block your moms. It's such an easy fix. Don't ever have to hear from her. Just block.
Hard to reach her child, and just no matter what she does, it's always wrong. Even though historically she has been the person who has all of the power in this relationship, and no matter how hard I tried, the goalposts were consistently moved.
I won't lie, the daughter seems pretty insufferable too, but yeah, just block her. Move on. Don't be angry. Just move on with your life.
And what I tried to achieve was never enough. This is projection. Anything I say, no matter how positive my intentions, are interpreted as negative. This woman has never given me a genuine apology in my life that I can think of that did not involve placing herself as the victim and guilt tripping me. I don't even think you can call this an apology. I've always wanted the best for you. Again, she's the good guy in this scenario. Anything I've done that has been hurtful was just me being a stupid human. She knows. She knows that she's fucked up. She knows that I'm hurt. She knows because I've tried to tell her for years, and she refuses to accept responsibility. This is the closest that I will get. And she is still framing herself as the sympathetic party here. My intentions for your life have always been for you to be happy and successful, whatever that looks like. Oh, she loves that line. She loves the happy and successful. Her version of whatever my happy and successful looks like is pressuring me and guilting me and scaring me into her version of my best life, and then saying it's for my own good. It's privately downplaying and discouraging any kind of accomplishments that I make, but then publicly using my success as a trophy to parade around. It's continually disregarding my interests and my needs and pushing me for a life that would be more beneficial for her socially. This is a beautifully crafted piece of passive-aggressive manipulation that sounds kind, when in actuality, she is an abuser who talks shit about me to the entire family behind my back.
Yeah, that's how women do it. They ruin your reputation. We can't use verbal violence, so women will just spread rumors, over-exaggerate things, and really overreact. That's how women do it. That's how they get their way.
Because I openly talk about the abuse. She cannot accept it, she won't own up to it, and she will never say sorry to my face. All I want is for an acknowledgement of the harm,
Never. Impossible.
And proof that she is trying. That's it. That is the cost for her to be in my life, and that will never happen. She wants the benefits of having access to me, but she doesn't actually want to put in the work to make it a relationship that is mutually beneficial. I don't even know if I'm going to respond or what I'm going to say to her. Messages like these are so exhausting. There's no one else I can talk to in my family because if I bring it up and I show them this message, there's the plausible deniability of, well, look, she's saying if she hurt you, like she's trying to reach out to you. She's trying to make a bridge. And it's like, no, she's trying to get me to reach out to her without her having to change at all. Don't we just love emotionally immature, abusive parents? Yay!
Yeah, she's the same. They're the same, but okay, a single mother put a kid in the trash.
Protective parents that you asked if the baby was okay. Why'd you ask him that?
Because with or without that incident, he's still mine.
The Hobbs teenager accused of
Oh my gosh. She threw that kid in the trash. And they said, well, why'd you do that? Or why'd you say that? And then she's like, with or without the incident, he's still, I thought she said he still might have been hurt. No, she said he's still mine. Bitch, you don't give a shit about this kid. You threw it in the trash.
her baby into a trash bin testifies about leaving him in the January cold last year. Good evening. Thank you for
Oh my
joining
gosh.
us. Karen and Abner are on assignment tonight.
The trial does continue in New Mexico for Alexis Avila, who is facing charges of attempted first-degree murder and child endangerment causing bodily harm. She took the stand today to speak in her own defense. In January of last year, security camera footage caught her tossing a bag into a large trash bin and then driving off. Almost 6 hours later, dumpster divers heard cries and found the discarded infant. Medical experts testified yesterday on the child's condition after his rescue and said it is very likely he would have died from the extreme hypothermia if he had not been found.
How many babies are thrown in dumpsters and not found every year? Dark question, isn't it?
Do you understand how your actions affected the baby?
Yes.
And what do you think of that?
And that hurts. That's something that he's never going to forget. That's something that's going to live with him for the rest of his life.
You know what's so crazy? You know you can leave babies at fire stations? Like, why do they choose to throw it in a dumpster instead of a fire station?
Well, that's myself.
Avila pleaded not guilty last year. If convicted, she faces at
My
least...
mother claimed $100,000 in my name, and now I got to deal with it. It started when I was 12. I'm 20 plus. Holy crap. You should call in and tell your story.
18 years in prison. We'll have live coverage of this trial from Lovington tomorrow.
She'll get off on good behavior. Baby dies when a mother goes on vacation.
She was always happy, always...
Hold up.
Oh my God.
Let's go here.
She was always happy, always playing and smiling and laughing.
Pictures and happy memories. That's all neighbors have of 16-month-old Jailene Calendario.
I absolutely loved her. She was like a little sister to me.
Sulem and her mom Iris didn't want to show their faces. They said the first time they met Jailene was last August. They were supposed to watch her only a few days, but they said her mom didn't return for a month and a half.
I was the one calling her, look, I need milk, I need money. I don't have no money to buy milk for you, baby. What am I supposed to do?
Fast forward to this month, and Cristel Calendario is charged with her daughter Jailene's murder. Court documents show the 31-year-old admitted to leaving her baby home alone June 8th while she went on vacation to Puerto Rico and Detroit. When Calendario returned home 8 days later, police say she found Jailene unresponsive.
We were absolutely heartbroken. We loved Jailene a lot.
Iris and Sulem wish Calendario would have asked them to watch Jailene.
I wish for her to pay what she did to her daughter.
Instead, they're left with an investigation and reminders of Jailene's many visits.
Jailene really didn't deserve what happened to her. She was amazing and really adorable, and I miss her a lot.
Wow, that's devastating. And They keep pushing that women love their kid. They don't. They do not. They love, I guess this video is not available. They love the clout their kids get. They love, I mean, even Candace Owens today, she's like, you know, I saw her Twitter and she posted a picture of her baby, right? She's had another kid. And I'm thinking, Candace, you're in fucking politics. Are you insane? Are you mad? You're posting pictures of your kids when you're in politics? Holy shit. I'm like, these women do not care about their kids. Political people go dark, like they try to, anyways.
My mother told me that she owned my body. She could do whatever she wanted to it, whenever she wanted to it, and there was nothing that I could do about it. Whenever I was born, I was the only one out of my siblings with brown hair and bright blue eyes. The rest of my siblings were born with blonde hair and bright blue eyes. Growing up, she always made sure to remind me that she told God she wanted a baby with brown hair and bright blue eyes, and he finally blessed her with that by giving her me. However, she always resented me. I was the black sheep of the family, the scapegoat. She always made sure to make that known. Because she was my mom, I always seeked validation from her, so I wanted blonde hair exactly like my sisters, since she liked them more than me. It was my junior year. My big sister had already moved out of the house and she was living with a friend. One day I was at my sister's house and we got the bright idea to give me highlights. Except we really didn't know exactly what we were doing. We took the little highlight cap that you pulled hair through. We pulled majority of my hair through this cap. My hair ended up looking like a strawberry blonde color. To be honest, it was not that bad. Here's a picture of it right here. Wasn't terrible at all. We didn't realize how much hair that we colored of mine though. We thought it was going to be a subtle difference and you weren't going to be able to tell. When we were finished, I made sure to put my hair up in a ponytail and my sister took me home. I got home and ran through the front door and tried to get to my room before my mother saw my hair, but she did see it as I walked into the front door. She made sure to let me know that I was so ugly now, that this was her body and she had rights to do whatever I wanted to it. I did something to her body that I was not allowed to do. She said the only thing that ever made me pretty was my brown hair. Now that that was gone, I no longer had any value. After that, I just went to my room and I cried, believing that I really was ugly and that my brown hair was the only reason why people liked me and thought that I was pretty at all. When I went to school and people pointed it out that something had changed about my hair or even complimented it, I would be sure to say, oh yeah, it's really messed up. I didn't do this on purpose. It looks horrible. I know. I said that every single time someone even complimented it. I really believed that I was so ugly with this hair. It made me hate everything about myself. Of course, now I know that my hair color does not define me. Just because she told me as a kid that my brown hair was the only reason I had value to her, I really don't even color my hair brown anymore. I make sure to keep it blonde most of the time. At least that's the reason I think I like it blonde a lot. My mother always made it a point to make sure I knew that she owned my body and I had no rights to it. Still to this day, I struggle with my self-image issues, but for the most part, I have overcome them. I refuse to allow her to have any more control over me.
They'll come back at 35. Don't worry, lady. You might have overcome them for now. They'll be back.
My body any longer. I own my own body, and I'm not going to let anyone else tell me different ever again. Just because you birthed someone does not mean that you have...
Mothers are especially mean to their daughter. Women do not like their daughters, especially when the daughters become like prettier and get more attention than them. And if the dad likes the daughter more than the wife, oof, cooked. So cooked. Done. All right, mother shoots daughter in the neck and then tells her to lie about it.
Bond for the Maryland mother accused of trying.
Oh my God. Holy shit.
Bond for the Maryland mother accused of trying to kill her own daughter. The suspect, Talika Brown, will stay in jail. And today, new evidence suggests she tried to manipulate what her daughter told authorities. Lily Zhang's on the story tonight. She's standing by live with those details. Lily?
Hey, Jim, good evening to you. Prosecutors are pointing to a voicemail that was turned over to their office before today's hearing, just hours beforehand. In that voicemail, we are told that the suspect sent it to the child's father, essentially saying that if their child does not make a statement, doesn't show up in court, that all this will, quote, go away.
That was concerning to the state because obviously with her being 13 years old, she's very impressionable. And that's our concern, is that it's her mother. She's going to listen to her mother. And so we don't want her to be tainted in any way by the pressure.
Ashley Souls is an assistant state's attorney for Prince George's County. She presented the case before a judge today, arguing that Talika Brown was a danger to the community and should not be released on bond. Brown is accused of shooting her 13-year-old daughter in the neck on Monday. This was after authorities say an argument turned physical in their Seat Pleasant home. Charging documents say Brown initially told her daughter to claim that she was shot by someone who broke into the home. The 13-year-old, according to prosecutors, remains in the hospital today. She requires a chest tube right now, with doctors at one point fearing that paralysis was a possibility.
And while no one thinks that a mother would shoot her very own daughter, no one could conceive of that. These incidents do happen. And they happen for a variety of reasons. But our goal is to prevent these incidents from becoming tragedies, to begin to address those underlying issues that lead to this type of violence.
Now, in court today, a defense attorney for Brown tried to make the argument that, in his opinion, home detention would be more appropriate in this case. He says that Brown has no violent criminal history, also adding that in this case, the victim could stay with her father. The judge, of course, in this case did side with the state. Guys?
Holy.
Fox News can check.
All right, Pearl Reed, if you guys have a question, comment, concern, you can go to theaudacitynetwork.com and put Pearl Reed in front. When we say the word deadbeat, we automatically picture a man. What is the equivalent word of a deadbeat mother? There isn't one, and that's a problem. Totally. That is disgusting. And this is the thing. We don't talk about these issues. It's always... women are far worse to their kids than men. I'm gonna refresh. I don't see one on the YouTube side. Okay.
Love my mother. And whenever I make that statement, it ignites. I don't love my mother. I don't love my mother.
But I thought the women in their 70s were like so much better. Now, women have always been women, okay? They might have not had as much opportunity. Women don't get this idea that women were different in the past.
And whenever I make that statement, it ignites a ton of people and a ton of judgment. She brought you into this world. You know, I owe her gratitude. I owe her love. When the fact of the matter is, she owed me safety and nurturing and love. This little girl, the only thing she ever experienced in connection to her mother, the only thing I ever experienced in connection to my mother, was anxiety, fear, and absolute terror. And that was the result of the emotional violence, the emotional abuse that she perpetrated against me. So no, I don't love my mother, because that's not what she grew between us. And I wish I did. And I wish she had.
Dad's if a dad's a F up, right? If he wasn't the best dad, dads will admit it. Do you know what I mean? Like, have you ever talked to kind of a shit father? I have. And they'll say, you know what, I wasn't around much growing up. They'll admit their faults and just say, well, yeah, you put food on the table. I did the best I could. I could have did it better, of course. But mothers, it's like you do one criticism and it's like World War III. It really is. It is truly World War III. Okay, let's see what's next.
My mother changed my diaper and therefore I should what?
Yeah, the other thing about mothers, men have a child and know that the kid owes them nothing. That you have 0 until 18. And once that kid is 18, that's your responsibility. Okay. I don't know why mothers, they just have a tendency to, but I gave birth to you, bitch. You chose not to wear a condom. Nobody made you. You chose not to go on birth control. Nobody made you do that. That was number one. Number two, you could have given a kid up for adoption. You didn't have to keep the kid. The kid didn't ask to be here. So the kid isn't indebted to you because that she raised it. And so many times I'll hear these moms and they'll just say, oh, I raised you, I changed your diapers. And you were like, you as an adult made the decision to take on this responsibility. Like, you know, I mean, I know a dog isn't the same thing. Buy dog, die love, you know, I already have a dog. But, you know, if you buy a pet, you can go to jail for not taking care of the pet, right? There's no like societal gratitude that you're such a good person because you took on a pet, right? But somehow with kids, like we somehow think that they're like, that's why I always kind of make fun of these trad women that use their kids for clout. And they post their kids on the internet, especially Twitter, okay? There's some messed up people on Twitter. Some messed up people that will, there's pedophiles, there's creeps, and yet all these tradcon influencers, they just put their kid's face on the internet. Now look, I totally understand that sometimes you make mistakes, right? Like, you know, when I first got on the internet, and I'll even raise my hand, I did post way too much, you know. There were just times where I would, you know, post, me and my family would do content. Granted, everyone was older, right? No one was like a baby. And it did backfire when I got into like controversial stuff, and I kind of regretted putting that stuff online, and I stopped, you know, unless sometimes my sister, if she wants to come on, but you know, she's an adult. But I don't know why you would put like a kid, right? Like the kid, and I see I see a lot of the Daily Wire people do this with their families and their spouse. A lot of the tradcons. It's like like these people didn't ask to be in this political crazy world, you know? So by putting them as part of your brand, you're kind of like, now you're putting the kid up for attack from all these people that hate you, right? And the moms just say, fuck it, let's do it. I need these clout points. I need this clout. Like, before I go into this, I'm going to show you. Put it up for 1 sec. Just put the screen off for 1 sec. Oh, it's off. Okay. Like, I saw this today. There's another one. Okay, I'll look in a second. I saw this, and everyone says I'm bitter, right? And maybe, I don't know. I don't think I'm bitter, but I'm a pretty positive person. I talk a lot of shit on the internet, so it's totally fair. I think maybe sometimes people don't understand my tone. But this is what I mean when I say a lot of these trad women are kind of frauds, because what do? You putting this baby's face on the internet already? And they all do it, all of them. Here, like, this is one. Let me go to Michaela Peterson's page. She just did it again, too. Michaela Peterson. And I keep thinking, like, is this this bitch is thirst trapping with her kid. Bro. Come on, you know what this is going to do to a guy's mind. You know how men are, bitch. Being realistic isn't being bitter, right? And I thank God. Oh, I thank God my mom didn't have Twitter back in the day. I thank God, because her Facebook, I'll tell you what, her Facebook was like crazy. Oh my God, I was all over it. Oh, thank God, but it was a private one. Thank you, God. But I just think, holy shit, if these people have Twitter, oh my goodness. And they don't care. They really don't care about their kids. They're just like, fuck it. Let me get this clout. Let me go back to this other video I was talking about with this nice blonde lady.
My mother changed my diaper, and therefore I should, love her? She kind of didn't. I'm sure she must have done it on occasion, but just as a little FYI, one of the ways that my mother abused me was through neglect. When I was born, I had a babysitter who was only 10 years old. And her mother would come over with her, well, take her over because she was only 10 years old. And they would check on me after school every single day. This is a story that my babysitter, who I still know, told me. She said, we would come and check on you because we knew that your mother was not feeding you or changing you. And when they would arrive and I would be in my crib playing, I was unchanged, unfed, not crying, already disassociating and self-soothing because of the fact that my mother actually did not change my diapers or feed me, for that matter.
Exactly. Exactly. And they're like, thanks for not murdering me.
Trigger warning, toxic abuse. When I was 13, my mom...
And I think this is what men fear the most. It's not really the money necessarily, right? You know, money's part of it, but no guy wants a fucked up kid, right? No guy, like the guy will like say, you know what, take the money. Men can be happy like with a mattress on the floor of a 1-bedroom apartment. They're happy. Women, we're so jealous of men's ability to be content. Like we'll look at them, they'll have a mattress on the floor. And we'll still sleep. We'll still bang them, right? That doesn't stop us. But, you know, we'll look at this and say, how are you happy? But men, they're fine. They're like, take my money, whatever. I don't care. But no guy, like a guy would rather have no kid than a messed up kid. Do you know what I mean? Like the guy would just rather have no kid at all than a kid that's going to be a terrible representative of him. And he can't really stop that. I mean, he can vet to see if the woman's crazy, but he doesn't know until he puts a baby in her. Women, we lose our minds after we get that baby. We're like drunk on power. We're like, yes, I can use this kid. I can weaponize this kid for the rest of my life. I can. And, so it's not necessarily their fault, but, you know, when women get that baby, that's when you see your true colors, you know.
Mom and dad got in an argument, and they never really argued before, so...
Hit that like button, guys. How the hell? We got 500 people watching. We need at least 400 likes. A like is free, please. You know, please, if you want. I
thought it was strange, and maybe I just never saw them argue or heard them argue. Boomers can be very sneaky. So I asked my dad, I was like, are you and Mom going to get a divorce? And he was like, no. So a few days had passed, maybe a couple weeks, I don't really remember. My mom called me up to her room, and my brother was there too. And that album was playing on the radio, her cassettes, whatever. She said, I don't want you guys to worry or anything, but me and your dad are getting a divorce. She said, I still love you, everything is going to be fine, but I'm going to have you live with your dad. And that is the day my life completely fucking changed. I still don't have all the answers today, but apparently my dad found a Polaroid of my mom at a rave with some guy. Her friends were in the Polaroid too, so who knows. But she ended up going to live with him. And I lived with my dad, and I had a boyfriend at the time, and his parents were truck drivers, and they were on the road all the time. We had a huge house, so my dad let my boyfriend live with us. This is probably when we were like 15, 14. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? My dad was a workaholic, and he bought our love for the most part. He was very emotionally unavailable. This is going to be a long one. I apologize. There might be multiple parts. Who knows? My dad was like a part owner of budget rent-a-car sales, and he would buy a franchise, build it up, and sell it. And we were rich. Like my dad would take me and my best friend to go get perms, Bath and Body Works, J. Crew, Banana Republic, all that crap. I would go and visit my dad at work, and his work buddies would give me $100 bills just to impress the boss. And me and my best friend would be at the job, and we'd be in like the garage with the cars, and we'd be getting like high on helium. I don't know if you can get high on helium. We were playing with the damn shit. Okay, back to seriousness. So after a while, my boyfriend started to abuse me.
I doubt it.
I mean, it would go as far as him hitting me in the halls of...
After you screamed in his face and antagonized him and verbally abused him, he probably hit back, yeah. Is my guess. Tell the women trying to ruin my life.
School. I caught him watching porn once, and I was like 15. I didn't understand what it was, and it made me really uncomfortable. And then later on, he cheated on me, got a girl pregnant. We decided to move to Orlando, and that was it. I've talked about my mom on here before. If you don't know, she had Crohn's disease. She found out she had Crohn's disease in 1985. I was 5. They didn't know what it was at first, so she went into the hospital to have surgery, and she woke up with an ostomy bag. If you don't know what an ostomy bag is, it's basically you shit in a bag for the rest of your life, at least for her. Can you imagine being a young woman, go into surgery, and wake up? Sorry, part 2.
What a time. All right, so a woman's mother left her dad to go raving. Woman is forced to go into work instead of be with her son.
The way that working moms are made to choose between their job and their children.
You should have married rich. You're probably hot 10 years ago. You know what I mean? She's cute now, but like 10 years ago, I bet she should have married rich.
Really freaking infuriates me. And let me just set the record straight now. I will always choose my son over my bullshit little corporate job. But
yeah, how are you going to pay to live? How is he going to eat?
Somehow I was gaslit into having to go into the office today, which is not my normal day that I go into the office. So I go in today and tomorrow, and my son had to miss school today, and he will miss it again tomorrow because no one can pick him up from school. On top of that, I had to cancel 2 therapy sessions that he had today. And every day, as part of my job, I am reminded that these companies really don't give a damn about you. And even when they say that they value diversity and inclusion and they support working moms and blah, 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 we have all learned so far that that is absolute nonsense and garbage. And then to make things even worse, I have to drive 1 hour and 20 minutes to my office, and it's going to take me over 2 hours to get back home. Which means I won't see my husband on his birthday until at least 7:30 p.m. today. How's your day going?
Yeah, like women complain about just doing basic things like working. Like men, you know, single dads, they just never complain. They solve the problem. They're not going to complain on the internet. They know people don't care. Nobody cares about your problem. Nobody does. Nobody. Except me, because, you know, I get paid to do this. Thanks for keeping me employed, ladies. Thank you. My kid, but someone on the website said, in college I was arrested for a DUI around Mom's Weekend. Cops were cool. They were telling me how on Mom's Weekend they have the most police calls because the moms fight their daughters over men. Wow. That is... Okay, let's see the next one.
The way that working moms are...
I watched that one already. All right, a kid book tells kids about moms getting drunk and beating on men, and the women laugh about it.
Why Mommy Hits Daddy, Kid's Guide to Understanding Alcoholism. Why Mommy Hits Daddy, Kid's Guide to Understanding Alcoholism by Brad Goss.
Imagine if this was the other way around. Imagine if there was a book called Why Daddy Hits Mommy. Oh my gosh.
Mom comes home, she doesn't expect much. A clean bathroom, and your father's gentle touch. Even though your daddy works hard. Really? He's a fucking astronaut? She expected him to clean the poops in the yard. Mom looks rough, and why? What is with all...
See, that's called mom overreacting, right? So this is the way women control you, and I want you guys to understand this. Women have a standard of clean that they have for a house. House they don't pay for, right? Or maybe they go half and half. But they make their neuroticism everyone else's problem. So they get upset if somebody takes an extra egg. They get upset if everything is imperfect. Now, I'm not saying to be a slob, right? I mean, don't be disgusting. But it's not that they really care about the house being clean, because if they did, you could say, I'll do this and I'll stop nagging. But they'll just find something else to nag about. So that's why you just ignore forever.
All of the emotions of the poops. Like, what is happening here? Why is he so sad? After Mom starts drinking wine with your father, she draws the line. This poor guy's never going to quit smoking with this bitch in his face.
Sorry, that was funny.
It's never going to happen. Once Mom takes a break to pee, God, I hate her. Like, just her face. Just a very punchable face. You and your dad had better flee. To the lawyer you must go. What is this pompadour hair? What is it? happening before mom's anger plateaus. And she beats your daddy with her fists. Oh my God, where are her pupils? Because she can't control her drunken fits. Drinking is your mom's issue. Now go and get your...
This is a fucked up book. They give this to kids?
Dad a tissue.
Oh my... Imagine if they had the opposite. They wouldn't. They wouldn't. All right. When a mother emasculates the father.
When a mother emasculates the father, okay? When a mother emasculates the father and there's children in the household and the children observe that and see that, that causes so much detriment to the children, and I'll tell you why. In a family, the mother plays the motherly feminine role, okay? And then in a family, the father plays the fatherly masculine role. I'm not saying that every father always shows up as a father or shows up as a masculine role. But when a mother intentionally and deliberately emasculates the father, the children always grow up to a degree feeling confused about their sexual orientation, about their gender role, about their place in the world. And I'm not talking about mothers that have a strong personality and have to play the father. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about mothers that literally deliberately emasculate the father through, putting them down or, always trying to wear the pants in the relationship, okay? When that happens, the children always grow up feeling confused about the gender roles within the family dynamic, and then it causes them to feel confused about their role in their life, especially when it comes to their sexual orientation or their gender. So when a mother is emasculating the father and putting him down and wearing the pants and being cruel and almost playing this power dynamic, it's so detrimental to the kids. It does something so significantly detrimental to the children, and it causes the family system to almost collapse. And I say that through my own experience, okay? Every time I've seen a family where the mother was almost playing the masculine energy and the father is playing not the feminine energy but is emasculated, doesn't feel like they can speak up, doesn't feel like they have a role in that dynamic, the children always have a degree of confusion as they grow up because the parents are supposed to play these roles. They're supposed to play the masculine, they're supposed to play the feminine. And when that doesn't happen, it causes confliction in the child, and it causes a confliction in where the child places themselves in their world.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. A woman stabs ex-husband and kidnaps the kid.
Deputies say this woman showed up at her...
Oh my God. You guys think you're hooking up with this spicy Latina and you think, oh, it's going good. I got this spicy Latina. And then, yeah, you didn't look for the crazy eyes. You didn't do it. You guys got to look. You got to look into the eyes and say, is she just jealous and spicy, or is she batshit crazy? And that's a tough line. You guys got to pick. And I think sometimes girls will do things or women will do things and guys will look twice and be like, is she crazy? Or is she batshit?
Ex-husband's apartment and stabbed him.
She then took off with their daughters. And it all went down Sunday night in Lake Mary on Greenstone Drive, and that initiated an Amber Alert.
All three kids were tracked down this morning in Orlando. Fox 35's Holly Briscoe.
You careful, guys. Look for the crazy eyes. You might lose your life over it. We are not playing games.
So joins us live with the...
She doesn't look too spicy. Well, I bet when he met her, she was. You could tell she used to be.
Latest. Holly.
Good evening. Well, investigators tell me that they are still...
Does she have crazy eyes? 1 in the chat if she does, 2 if she doesn't. You got to judge this one. We're going to listen.
Very early on in this investigation, and one thing that they did want to make clear is that the children were not in the apartment when the victim was stabbed.
All right, Miss Kelly, I reviewed your public defender application.
The last Kelly made her first appearance before a judge today. Kelly is charged with attempted first-degree murder. Investigators say she showed up at her ex-husband's
Oh, dang, he died. I didn't realize.
Apartment and stabbed him several times late Sunday afternoon.
I do find probable cause to hold you.
Neighbors in this quiet complex shocked by the whole ordeal.
But he's a nice man, yeah.
FDLE put out a missing child alert after the stabbing, saying that Kelly was on the run with her 2 daughters and was to be considered armed and dangerous.
Hey, I didn't say it was your fault for dating crazy. You can't always tell. Someone said, "Oh, be Pearl's blaming." I'm just saying, try to avoid it if you can. It's like, goddamn.
Orlando police saw
Yeah, I'm taking calls in a bit.
Last Kelly on Salinas Drive around 1:20 this morning and arrested her. Investigators say her girls were with her and were not harmed. Court records show the ex filed for divorce in September 2020. The divorce finalized in December. A neighbor says the ex lived in the complex for about a year and they'd never seen or heard of his ex-wife, DeLast Kelly, before.
It's a little bit scary.
And investigators tell me that the victim is listed in critical condition at the hospital. According to the incident report, doctors told
he's still alive.
Told investigators they've already performed one surgery on the victim and they expect him to undergo several more. For now, reporting live in.
Holy crap. Insane. Okay, now we have another woman becoming a single mother. Then we're going to take callers. If you want to put the link in the chat, you guys can hop on right now.
Today's it's been a hard morning. Becoming a solo single parent is difficult. It's only been 2 days, but it's still been hard. I think the thing that makes
it's time to beg for him back. That does work. Just so you guys know, I'm not gonna say who. A certain somebody said after watching my show, his wife apologized. There's nothing like when me mentioning there's 22-year-olds and he could do better to get your wife on her best behavior. Just show her my clip. Hey, if he got you, he can get 10 years hotter than you. If you're a 6, right? Let's help. Or let's say you're really hot, you're an 8. Well, if he got you, right, that means all the younger 8s are going to see that he's with you and the other 8s. And boom, now he can smash them too. It's like, it's not really fair. And you just do worse unless you got some real girl game, but let's be honest, most of us don't. Not much anyways. No, not Rachel. Yeah, I'll just say that. So yeah, lady, if I were you, I would start begging, blowing, and cooking, or if you got money for Uber Eats or something, maybe buy him a present. It's time to treat him like a king and put the crazy away.
The hardest though is the reality, like sinking in. At first, like your body is kind of in shock.
Stop crying and start lying. Say, baby, you're the best I ever had. Start gassing up. Look at. Yeah, there's 3 things really. Men lie to us too. So before you guys virtue signal, please stop virtue signaling to me and saying like men don't want to be lied to some extent, right? Women, like when we say, tell me the truth, and you're like, I can't tell you the truth, you bitch. Like, you guys are like, I tried that, and you guys are you guys can't handle it. Well, women, it's like we can't. So men, when they lie to us, they say things like, I'm not cheating. There's no other women. I'll never leave. Not even if no, your friend isn't that hot. No, your friend, you're not. I don't want to smash your friend. I don't. They might say, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. No, I didn't notice you gained weight, right? So those are some lies that men tell us to make us feel better. But now women, the lies that women tell are, my body count is 2 or 1 or 3, whatever number it's under 10, right? That's what women say, number 1. Number 2, what women say is they say like, you're the best I ever had. You're so strong. What should we do, babe? So there's ways that women, manipulate men and men manipulate women. So like what I would suggest to her is whatever, because men, they have a couple things that kind of like men are really proud of, right? Like physique, being really intelligent. All men want to feel smart. Being like good dad. There's a lot of things, bringing home the money, Depends on the guy. Every guy's different, right? But I would start begging, I would start begging, saying, please, I'll change. Men do respond to, because men, here's the thing. Most men, lies don't work on me. Well, they work on enough men that, porn stars are getting married. I don't know what to tell you. So this lady, what I personally would recommend is, tell him you're going to change. That's obviously a lie. Start complimenting him based on whatever he's like good at. Start, trying to change your behavior. Really good glut. I'd start, because most men, they've never gotten an apology before. Not really. Not a real one. Maybe she could try, I'm sorry. Is there anything I could do to make this right? How many times do you think a man's heard that ever? Ever, never. It might happen. Yeah. I would never marry a woman with kids. She's not getting him back. Men are done with the rubber banding. Look, all I'm saying is it's worth a shot. I'm not saying it's going to work, but hey, it's worth a good old try. If you guys ever fumbled a girl, right? But you kind of send a Hail Mary text to just see, you're like, I think this is over. But hey, I'm going to try to smack. Let's just try it. Yeah. So I think she should, gluck is important. Yeah, I think she should give it a good old college try. What's the worst that can happen? She's already a single mother.
As the days progress, it kind of, your body starts to realize that, okay, this is happening, and then your mind starts to react. Another hard part of it is the logistics of everything.
A true apology has 3 parts. I'm sorry, it was my fault. How can I make things right? Said no woman ever in all of human history. You guys are funny. She could try.
When you have a baby,
you got to take off the bonnet, take off the glasses, put some makeup on. Men say they don't like makeup. Yeah, they do. Maybe get a boob job. Your tits are probably to your, down because you just had a kid. Yeah. I'm not saying this is moral. I'm saying I'm trying to be pragmatic here.
2 parents, and if both parents are good parents, which me and my son's dad were both good parents, you then have to figure out a middle ground. And then that means that there's going to be times when your baby is possibly not with you. My baby is so young.
Yeah, I would delete your TikTok. It's probably why you're a single mother. He probably dumped you over this.
So it's hitting me hard. I would have never expected or wanted this.
Okay. So now we're going to take callers, okay? So we have a couple questions, and you guys are welcome to answer any of these questions. But please, we really want to keep it to 4 minutes or less. So I'm not trying to be rude if I cut you guys off. It's just I got to move on. I want to take as many callers as I can. The other thing, so I want to ask, what behaviors did your mother exhibit that were toxic? Have you ever confronted your mother about any of her behaviors? And what is the worst thing you saw your mother do growing up, either to you or somebody else? I would love to hear your mother's story. So come on. Please don't start with I love your show. It's really nice. I'm really happy you guys watch. I don't want you to think I'm taking it for granted. But we do this show to get to the stories, right? I love hearing your stories. So please, beginning, middle, and end. And tell me your story, starting with Doug MPA.
Hey, Pro, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
See, you guys know my story. If you've been listening to Pro shows long enough, my mother was the worst person in my life up until my mid-30s. And then my parents got divorced. She started living by herself, started going to therapy, and she apologized for all the horrible things that she did to her 3 kids. And since I was 36 years old, she spent her whole life after that trying to make up for her being so terrible. Now, what would she do? My mom, I don't like when women say this, but it's the only way that I can describe it. My mom was just verbally and emotionally abusive. Like she would literally say the worst things and just make the house uncomfortable. And then when I was young, I mean, she'd whip my ass, and it was just terrible. So I consider myself fortunate that I'm on the other side of that because my mom is great now, but she had to go to therapy and fix all that stuff. And I know a lot of people whose mothers will never apologize, will never take accountability and make you feel like you're wrong when they were the scumbags. Guys, too many mothers in America are scumbags. And I put this in the Audacity chat. I said, when you think of the term deadbeat, you automatically think of a man, like a father, insufficient father. What is the term for that with a mother?
There isn't one.
We don't have one yet. It's just
what
like,
would you come up with? What would you say?
I'll have to think about it and try to come up with it.
Yeah, we
it's
should
just
make
a shame
it
that
here.
we don't have it.
Yeah, we could make
we'll,
it.
We'll think. We'll put our heads together and try to figure something out. It's just like the term loser. When you think of a loser, you think of a guy eating Cheetos in his mom's basement playing video games. What is the equivalent of the word loser for a woman? We don't have one yet.
Mm-mm.
And that's a problem in society, Pearl.
It totally is.
Okay. So
is there
I'm
anyone
gonna
on
let
the line?
in. I'm gonna let in Leo.
Yes, hi.
Turn off the YouTube in the background. Here we go. There you go.
Sorry. Hey,
You're okay.
hey, Pearl.
Hey.
Sorry.
How's
Hey,
it going? What part of the country are you in?
I'm in Jersey.
Oh, cool. So, what behaviors did your mother exhibit that were toxic?
Well, this was really regarding my ex.
Okay, well, today the show is about mothers.
Yeah, sorry.
You get along with your mom?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Okay,
Sorry.
well, call in a different show, okay, Leo?
Okay.
All
Sorry.
right, bye. All right, next we got...
I'll do Roland.
All right, Roland.
Roland, are you there?
Well, I don't even think he's there. I think he left.
No, it says connecting audio. Well, I see his chair.
Oh, now he's
there
back.
He is.
There he is. Roland, how are you? Can you hear me?
Hey, Pearl. I do.
What part
Sorry
of the
about that.
country are you in? You look American.
I am American. Yeah. I'm
Midwest?
in Utah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was
I'm a
going to
Utah
guess
guy.
like Kansas or something. I don't know why.
Oh, I look corn-fed.
I don't know. You kind of look like, I think it's the hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to keep the glare down. I'm follically challenged. So
Oh,
I used to
yeah?
be a redhead like you, though. So,
Oh, nice.
but now I have my soul back.
Oh, nice. So how's your mother? You know,
I kind of have a triple threat. I'm divorced, married to a single mother, and my mom's a real piece of work. She's about to become a single mom. My father apparently is passing away. He's got Alzheimer's and is terminal, but they were like one of the worst things that ever happened to me when I was a kid. My dad had a temper, but my mom would incite him to beat me and my brother. I grew up thinking I was just the worst person ever. And my sister thought she was, the good one. After I grew up and went away to college, that shifted to my brother. And one time when I was home on leave, I saw my mom do one of her typical things. She walked in with a report card that wasn't stellar, but wasn't terrible, handed it to my father and watched him go into the other room and beat my brother. And while I listened to, if you've ever heard an animal being beaten, that's what it sounded like. And I dealt with the guilt from that for years because I never did anything about it. Later on, those decisions, they affect you. They say the sins of the fathers are visited upon the sons, and it happens. I married somebody who made my life hell for 20 years. I sacrificed everything to try and make things work. She baby trapped me very early on when I was about ready to leave. I joined the military. I worked through a bunch of challenges. I ended up getting cancer and still, fought through that so I could, eventually commission into the Army. I went to Afghanistan and fought. And the hardest thing for me to see there was little kids who just weren't valued. It was just a different society there. There's things that haunt me to this day, and I don't know which one is worse, my childhood or seeing children get dragged or just happen to be there when combat would break out. And I felt used. We talk about like men being a utility to women. That's essentially what it was. And about 2 years ago, that marriage ended, and my ex-wife's the one that asked for it and said that I just was this horrible person. And since then, history's been rewritten. I'm the one that wanted the divorce. And the ironic thing was that my oldest son's now estranged from me, but my two youngest children, I was the most effective I've ever been at being a father. And I got to just truly be with them and love them. And over the course of those 2 years, I met someone, I moved in with her, and I've, got put in a position where with my divorce settlement, I made the decision to marry her to avoid conceding some legal custodial authorities that I had. And what I've discovered is once I gave that commitment, everything shifted. I've been told that I'm too focused on my children. She's made it so that she punishes me for spending time with them. I've had long, either hours or days worth of arguments over things like, I called my son when he was sick, said if he felt better, I'd want to play, a video game with him if he was up to it. And that turned into like, well, you're focused on your son when you should be focused on us instead. And then on top of that, this, my now new wife has a daughter that's the same age as my kids. They're all friends. They all play together. They all get along well, but I'm not allowed any authority, but I'm supposed to assume total responsibility. So, if I ask the daughter, hey, do you want to come wash the dishes with me? We'll show your mom we appreciate her making a meal. The daughter will start to cry. And,
man.
She's entitled, never has to do anything. Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm over my 4 minutes. Sorry.
No. I'm going to ask you a question, because when you deal with an environment like the one that you grew up in, especially, if you're, there's this tell me if you agree with me. There's this double-edged sword where you get used to being uncomfortable and you get used to enduring, right? So
absolutely,
you're able to endure things that a lot of people can't, but then that also translates to you enduring stuff from women that you shouldn't have to endure, and you kind of feel like it's your duty to endure. Was that your scenario?
Yeah, and it's Doug, right? Doug MPA?
Doug MPA, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely the case. In fact,
the same way.
mean, you seek out situations that are unhealthy because they feel comfortable. They feel normal, even though they are not. And so your family can set you up for a lifetime of suffering because you don't know what normal is. And then when you start to actually establish healthy boundaries, that's the irony, is like when I've tried to make things, good or peaceful with my ex-wife or with my current wife, it encourages them. It's almost emboldening. It's like, yeah, you really are a piece of shit. You're verifying that by coming and apologizing. But the moment that you've had enough, and sorry if I'm using language that is going to get you banned or anything, I'll try to watch it.
Go ahead.
But the moment that you say, I've had it, I've had enough of this shit, I'm not going to deal with it anymore. I got to the point where, I lost my job in February. I voted for Elon I voted for Trump, but, I lost my job. I was doing military contracting, but I had some mental health issues arise from some of that. And I was trying to work through it. And, my current wife was like, you need to get out of this house, depressed and you look sad all the time. And like, I said, okay, I guess we're getting divorced then. And her response to that was, well, no, you just go get all this stuff figured out. I'm like, okay, so I'm supposed to go basically be homeless, live out of my car, figure out like the solutions to these longstanding issues of trauma, going back to childhood. And then my reward for that is to come back here to the person who causes me the most anxiety and stress because you're never happy. Like, how is that? Why would I come back?
Roland, you're an example of a lot of men sleep next to their worst enemy every single night.
You are not kidding. It's,
Odds are
quite
you went through
desperation.
more trauma with the women in your life than you did in combat and your military career. If you do the totality of the stress that the two women in your life, well, actually the three with your mother, is probably more stress than all the combat you were in all your military career.
I felt more comfortable. In fact, I would trade my situation for most of my life, current with my ex-wife, with my mother, I would trade that for being with 16 of my closest friends, a combat loadout, going through a valley with a bunch of people that want to kill us, because I knew that those people had my back. And if worse came to worse, well, I die. Right now, it's okay, prolonged suffering, and what do I do to avoid it? Like, all I want to do is have peace. And it just seems to be this elusive thing, because I feel like a lot of these women are taught, because they have trauma from their mothers. It's like, well, the way to get what you want is to make sure you don't give the man in your life peace. And then he will
true.
give you what
100%.
you want.
Yeah.
100% true.
I don't, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Well, what's your plan now? Are you going to file?
I don't know. I'm putting my face out there. I don't know if anybody who knows her will put this out. This isn't my real name, but yeah, I mean, I need to leave. And, it's because it's like, I feel like I owe her some counseling. I have some good friends, and they approach things from a religious perspective. I'm more secular now, but I feel like I need some spirituality in my life. I'm trying to figure out what the point of my life is, because I've spent my entire life trying to make other people happy, because whatever was in me, like, I thought my parents just didn't teach me, or there was something wrong with me. And I've noticed with my own children, they're born with everything that they need to be happy. You just need to get out of the way. You need to make sure that you don't put them in a toxic environment. And I am trying to repair things that I don't know if it can be done. So, like, I have two kids that I want to see grow up and be happy and be healthy, and have a chance to get into some good relationships. But I worry about that. My oldest son that's estranged, he married a woman from Eastern Europe a little while ago. I barely was notified of it. He's going to learn. But yeah, I need to get out of it, and then I need to be on my own, because I really, at this point, don't trust myself to make good decisions about who to be with, because the thing that will feel good to me and normal it's harmful. It's toxic. So, yeah.
Don't let them guilt you for filing. Don't let her.
Yep.
Don't
And,
let her.
and just rolling real fast, because I've
sir.
been married and divorced, and I told you I dealt with some stuff from my ex-wife that I never thought that I deal with. I know you think that what you're going through right now is the hardest part.
Yeah.
I was talking to Pro about this the other day. I always say, if you're working in a job and you're miserable, or you're in a relationship and it's terrible, you have to ask yourself this question, and you have to answer yes or no. The magical question is this working? Yes or no? If the answer is no, all the rest of it's easy. But people refuse to answer that question. Is this working? Yes or no? If this isn't working for you, you have to decide that it's not working, and all the rest. But you have to, but the worst part about it isn't being in the situation. It's like getting out of the situation. You will get the quality of life that you want. And when you finally get there, you're going to look back on all the rest of this time like, dang, I should have did this earlier. That looking back on regret is the hardest part about it. So that's going to be the hard part.
It's easy this time, because for 20 years I hung in there, and Pearl, you always talk about it. It's like, it's not about you, it's about the kids. And I'm like, I owed them. And in this case, it's like, well, there's, I'm like, my kids are the ones who are suffering because of this. I have 50% custody, and I see them 5 days a month at the most.
Yeah,
so,
but you can't.
So it's an easy situation to be like, I need to leave so that I can, because I owe them.
Yeah, well, and you can't help your kids if you don't help yourself first.
That's true.
Yeah, you can't help them if you're not in a good place.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, let us know. Call in and give us any kind of update, because we're really glad that you shared your story, and stories like yours are what really show what men are going through out there.
Also,
no, I listen to you all the time, and I'll call in.
Doug MPA has some mental models on the website that are really helpful. So if you go to the Audacity Network under Audacity Academy, There's one that there's a presentation Doug MPA did on mental models, and he just has a lot of really good ones. So
I appreciate that. I look more into you, Doug. I appreciate talking to you. It's nice to be able to talk to somebody and feel like they've been there and have seen the other side.
Yeah, it's just the you were raised to think that enduring was the best thing that you can do, and that's what
It's a
got you
virtue.
through your military career. But then it's also the worst part about you too. All right, well, we're gonna move on. Call in and give us an
Thanks,
update,
Doug.
okay?
yeah, call in
Thanks, bro.
anytime.
Take care, you guys.
Okay, next up we have Andres. Andres, are you there?
Hello? Hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I can hear
Andres,
you.
are you there?
Hello?
Okay, awesome.
What part of the country are you in, Andres?
Texas.
Oh, nice. Okay. So tell me about your mom.
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I'm a little slow to speak.
That's okay. So tell me about your mother.
Whoa, wait a second.
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm sorry. I'm getting the double thing.
Make
You
sure
probably
you
have
turn
YouTube
off.
open
Yeah,
on another tab. Yeah.
yeah, turn off.
Yeah, I stopped it. All right, sorry about that. My mom, I do love my mom, but I
Do
do
you?
have
Are you sure?
issues with
It's
her.
okay. Yeah, go ahead.
And especially in the past, she separated from my dad when she caught him cheating, and she drugged me into the middle of it. I think that was probably the worst thing she ever did, and it messed me
Dang.
up for a long, long time.
How old were
Probably
you?
about. Oh, I'm
No,
47.
then. Sorry, then. I'm just to put into context.
Oh,
How old were you?
I
Yeah.
was 10, like 10 and a
Holy
half,
crap.
almost 11.
And so
Were you only child?
And, no, I had a baby brother
Okay.
at that time.
Go ahead, bro. Sorry.
But my dad had been cheating on her for a while with a stripper, and then I guess finally she had enough. But it's like I wish she would have just like made the decision to leave and not drag me into the middle of it. Like I saw them fighting and everything, and he hit her, and I'm like, it was like I grew up with a huge resentment against my dad because of that, and the thing was that, yeah, my dad's not like really a good person, but my mom was codependent, and she made the decision to stay with him for a long time, knowing that he's mentally abusive and all that, right? So even eventually they got back together. And my dad's like a coke addict, and he would come home psychotic and stuff, and like attack me and threaten my life. He's threatened my life a few times, and like she never did anything about that. And it's like, okay, well, I mean, I get that she's probably not equipped to deal with that stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But like, get help from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Like get help from somebody else. It's
Right.
just
So
like
she didn't protect you.
Yeah, exactly. So I had to carry a lot of
Andres,
resentment
and
stuff
so
for years.
That's it. I've been black in this country for over 40 years, right? And one thing about the black communities, we always talk about the trauma that black mothers have to go through because of the history of racism and the trauma and the blah 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 blah. First off, everyone has their issues. Second off, even if we take that as, oh, all these women went through all this trauma, it's their responsibility to not take it out on their children. There's no reason ever for mothers or fathers to take their trauma out on their children, period.
I totally agree with you. Yeah, absolutely. So anyways, that's my story. I do still love my mom, don't, yeah, I'm I do have a good relationship with her, and I've forgiven her and everything like that, and it's
Did they eventually?
but
Did they stay together? Or did they break up eventually?
oh yeah, they're still together, but I don't have
Okay.
anything to do with my dad.
Got it.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, no,
Okay.
I keep him out of my life because if not, then I'll get violent with him.
Yeah.
That's how he's screwed up really bad, and I mean he gets thrown out of bars all the time. Like at 70 something, he
Right.
yells and gets thrown out of bars. Like,
Yeah. Well,
like why are you
That's
still
bad.
with him?
Yeah. Well, thanks for
Anyways,
calling.
that's my
And,
story.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing and calling anytime. Okay.
All right, you're welcome.
Bye.
Okay, we have hey guys, make sure to like the video, please, and subscribe if you haven't already. We're gonna get Pearl to over 2 million this year. So hit that subscribe button, and don't forget the super chat button. All super chats will be read. RJ Isaac, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, I'm doing well.
Where are you calling from, Isaac?
I'm living in El Salvador.
Oh, cool. Wow, that's different. Are you American
Yeah.
though, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. How is that? Do you like it?
I love it. Moved here 3 months ago. Before that, I was living in Europe. And yeah, the weather here is fantastic. Really no complaints.
Cool. So tell me about your mom.
Yeah, so I have a very interesting relationship with my mom. I was homeschooled K through 12, and she was the primary teacher. And I did, what's the best way to say this? I can't say it was necessarily, I wasn't, later on in life, she told me that she saw a lot of characteristics in me about my dad, and she saw that as a very negative thing. And she said that because of that, she treated me differently than my siblings. And so I was, I wasn't really given, like, there's a lot of, it was very subtle things. Like I wasn't given the benefit of doubt on things. And whereas like my older sister, she was the golden child that would be getting, all these things and all the privileges and expectations. And a good example of this is when it came down to like the junior year of high school. For my sister, my parents were pushing her to go into more colleges and telling her she needs to think about her future and that she should be, figuring out what major she wants to go in, all that sort of thing. And then in my junior year, there was nothing about it. Like there was no interest, there was no talk about it. My senior year comes and I'm like, hey, by the way, shouldn't I be like planning for college? And like, I don't think you're smart enough to go to college.
Wow.
And
Did you look like your dad? And did your sister look
Yes.
like? Okay, so were you the only one that looks like him?
I was the one I was the one that looked the most like him. I was always told that basically if I wanted to know what I would look like in 25 years, I just need to look at my dad.
Yeah.
And my dad was rather overweight, so I was never really too fond of that
And
idea.
are they still together or no?
Yes, they are.
Okay. And so like she just hates your dad even though they're still together?
Yeah, so my family is very religious. My dad, and particularly my mom, my dad was a pastor, and so there was this very strong like divorce is never an option mentality between them, and but finances were always a problem, and so it was a case where every single week they'd be fighting and shouting at each other about usually something related to financing is usually the biggest thing. So it was it was one of these experiences where like we're supposed to be the the pastoral family, and yet inside the home it's like there's just shouting going on and all these other problems. And again, like I also like had undiagnosed dyslexia and ADHD and all these other problems that I've since now figure out how to deal with those. But growing up, that just caused a lot of problems where it was really difficult for me to go through school and actually succeed. But when I actually did push myself into college and again based off state laws and being homeschooled, she could basically give me any grade she wanted, and she just gave me really bad grades. She's like, has to be fair. And
Your own mom.
No way.
Oh my God.
Oh, and you couldn't even get away from her because you had to do the homeschool. Oh, did you want to go did you want to go to public school?
I didn't. So my dad, after my dad was a pastor, like when I was about 14, he became well, okay. I did not want to go to public school at the time because I was very much this was all I knew. And I was told again and again how important it is to, get this kind of education and how important it is. And propagandized is probably the best word. And when I actually, after my dad was a pastor, he became a Bible teacher at a private school. And so we could have even gone to this private school for free because we would have gotten free tuition and all my friends were part of the private school. And at that point, I was like, you know what, this might be a better fit for me. I think I'll do better with that kind of structure. But saying that was a massive insult to my mom. And so I could never actually say that. She'd ask the question like, oh, do you want to go to that school? Like it was this like a threat that how dare you ever actually suggest you might want to do that. And so I could never admit that. And but when I actually did manage to get to school, to college, even though she was saying I would probably fail, I actually did, fairly well in college. But so I can't say that academically, at least, that the homeschooling was bad. But I do see that there's a lot of negative aspects that came from that.
So you thought that you were not that good at school, and then you went to school and you did pretty well? Because your mom was giving you all these bad grades, right? You probably thought you were like, if my mom was giving me bad grades, I would think I was dumb, right? My own mother.
Well,
and then you go to public.
Part of it.
Yeah, I'm just wondering. You could correct me if that's not what happened.
Well, part of it is that I don't know how to say this except just directly. My family is very intelligent, and so my younger brother, he was doing like 2 grades above me in math, because he was very good at math, and he's making a lot of money now with that. My younger sister, she was also excelling in academically. She actually was able to get a full ride scholarship to get her doctorate at Brown. So they were paying her to go to get her doctorate there. So just a lot of very smart people with my siblings. And for me, I was just struggling with math. I couldn't read well. I couldn't do, and again, it's not that it came down to dyslexia. I just have a hard time reading from physical books. And when I actually went to college and started doing math, something I thought I was really bad at, I turned out that I was actually above all my peers just because of different perspective and expectations that we had academically.
Okay.
I can tell you. So, I transferred off to a university out of state after I went to community college, and I intentionally didn't tell my mother because I knew she was going to tear it down, right? So the day before I left, I told my mom I was leaving, and the last words that she said to me was, "I don't know why you're going down there, because all you're going to do is fail out and end up on our couch. Then what are you going to do?" Those are the last words that she said to me. And then when I started my professional career after grad school, I got a job in a different state, and because I moved back in with my parents after grad school, and then I had to go because my mom was treating me like she was when I was a kid, just being just horrible to me, right? So I applied for jobs out of state, and I took a job out of state, and my mom told me, she summed up my entire childhood when she said, "I hate you when you're here, but I miss you when you're gone." She literally said that to me.
Yeah, very familiar. And actually what happened for me, so I wanted to go to college to one of the state schools. It was, a big state school, had a great program, liked the campus. It was about 2 hours away from my house, and I was going to just do some business degree. So it wasn't anything special. But my mom said that she would not allow me to do that. I had to go to the closest school that offered the program I was interested in, which happened to be a couple blocks from my house, and it was a private Christian school, which cost more money than, of course, than the state school. And again, it was a tiny college, less than 1,000 students, and of course, I also then had to stay at home to save money because why would I go live on campus if it's just a couple blocks away? That makes no sense. And so I I absolutely hated that because, I'm, want to be able to get away from the house and want to be able to get out as quickly as I can. And here I am stuck, still living there. And and it was, I didn't, what made it more frustrating was my younger brother, again, he's a very smart guy. So, but he was able to go to that school that I wanted to go to. There was no problem with that for him. And on top of it, my older sister, for whatever reason, I ended up transferring colleges twice. My older sister, for whatever reason, she went to every single school and made every single of the same transfers at the same time I did. So we both started in the same year, even though she's like 2 years older than me. She both started in the same year. We both transferred after 1 year to the next school, stayed there 2 years, and then transferred again. And so even though we really had a lot of tension between us, like it was kind of awkward because then everyone would say, "Oh, I know your sister," and I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but even when I finally did graduate college, and I was the first one of all my siblings to graduate, I didn't have a 4.0 GPA, but I had a pretty good GPA. And I remember
These get degrees, man.
It's like, I finally did it. Look, I should finally, my mom's gonna be happy. I did it. I graduated college. I proved her wrong. And her whole response was like, yeah, well, I mean, they just have lowered the standards so much since I went to school. So, I mean, it doesn't really mean anything. And that just, I can't tell you how much it upset me.
Did you ever confront her about it?
I've tried a couple of times, and it gets shut down. She starts crying about how much she's a failure as a mother, and it's.
I'm sorry, I'm such a failure. That's always the go-to, right?
Yeah, and what was even more frustrating, like, so again, I end up getting married. I have kids. I moved out of state, and then finally, after having two kids, we're like, you know what, I want to move back. This isn't working out. Let's move back closer to my parents. And they live in a small town, tiny town in South Dakota. So we moved an hour away to the biggest city in South Dakota because there's more job opportunities there. And I was like, great, finally we're going to be close. They're going to have their grandkids nearby. It's their only grandkids. They can come by and visit all they want. And my wife, she was also like, this is going to be good too. Like I can just go and drive out to their house with the kids and they spend time with their grandkids. And yeah, they basically had very little interest in spending time with the grandkids and were, I mean, they even told my wife, just don't come here. Like, if you're going to come here, we got to make this big plan and have things planned out. You can't just, come over and with the kids if you need to. And even things like, trying to say, we wanted to say, can you come over to our place and watch the kids overnight so my wife and I can go, get a hotel? That they would never do that. If we wanted to do that, I would have to go drive the kids over to their house, drop the kid.
You can see articles about how. What's your age range?
I'll be 35 next week.
Yeah, they have whole articles about how grandparents your age just aren't participating with their grandkids. They're just saying F these kids. So it's not just you. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of. So I would. You have to learn the hard way, but having the expectation that grandparents will go along with the grandkids is kind of not realistic these days. It sucks.
Well, and it goes back to what you're saying. Like, they'll again, since I moved out of the States, they hardly get to see the kids at all. And it's always like, oh, we miss you so much and we want you to come back and we wish you were closer. And, again, being in Europe, we had a 7-hour time difference. Now it's either, since there's no daylight savings time in El Salvador, it's either a 1 hour difference or no time difference. And I even got my kids tablets, and set them up with, Messenger Kids. So my mom can, because she uses Facebook Messenger. Mm-hmm. So if she wants to call in, she can message them and keep in touch with them and be connected. And I don't think in the past 3 months that I got this all set up and we've been on the same time zone, I don't think she's messaged or contacted him once.
Okay.
I mean, and I will add, two of my kids are autistic, so only one of them is actually able to talk, and I will encourage him to go and send messages and stuff, and she might respond to a message, but there's no initiative on her part to go and actually reach out and do anything.
Right.
Okay.
Well, thanks for calling in and sharing your story. Call in anytime, okay?
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Doug MP, I've thought about that for a bit. Because I'm not against homeschooling, but I thought that it would be torture if you had a crazy mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
because you always hear the trads talk about homeschool, and I'm not against it, but I'm like, God, if the mother's doing it, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
there's a super.
You're stuck. You saw that one influencer who met that psychotherapist, and then she was doing all that stuff to her children.
Oh yeah. There's a super chat. Can't people just let go? I don't want to be like any of you, so I'll just live my own life. Okay, well then don't watch the show, Richie. It's fine. But $20, I'll still read it. Sorry, go ahead, Doug MPA.
We have one last caller here, and then we can wrap it up because I know you're hard out in a little bit.
Okay.
So we're gonna let Nick in. Nick has 4 minutes. Oh wait, no, he dropped out. Bro, this is how far it goes. The motherhood denial. I had a friend, and she went to Catholic school, and when she was in 5th and 6th grade, like her teacher, all the teachers were religious, were clergymen. This guy was literally, having sex with her and 2 of her friends in 5th and 6th grade. It was terrible, right? And so she went to go try to tell her mom, but her mom was like a pillar of the religious community and blah blah blah. So she's like, "How dare you say it about him? He's a good man." Blah 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 blah. So she had to spend like all of 1 grade of elementary school, like, in this guy's class while he was doing it to her and to her friends, right? So then fast forward when she was in high school, it finally got out that this guy was doing that to young girls, and he got convicted. And
no way.
This woman decided to say, I tried to tell everybody that this was happening, and even to her mom. And her mom to this day is in complete denial. And when she tries to bring up the fact that her mom didn't keep her safe, she starts crying and then shaming her. And so,
Men,
well, I
do you know
didn't know.
when that happens to men, they just say, "Yeah, I did. I failed." Do you know what I mean? Like when you tell a man that he was a shitty dad or he did something wrong as a parent, they just say, "Yes, I did."
Yeah.
But women, it's like, God, they'll gaslight you to the end of the earth and then make your life hell for noticing. That's so messed up. That's so messed up. Go ahead. Sorry.
Let's let in Nick. And Nick is the last caller.
We could do another mother show, though. How many callers are on the line? This is pretty.
Nick is the last one.
Okay. I know I meant, were there more or no? 'Cause this is pretty good for this time of day.
Nick is the last one.
Okay. Hi, Nick. Where are you calling from?
Hello. Midwest.
Oh, nice. Okay. So tell me about your mom. Tell me about how is the mother.
She's, I don't know. She got remarried. I talked to you about her a little bit before.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she's good. Normal.
Well, the topic is what behaviors did your mother exhibit that were topic, and did you ever confront her?
That were toxic.
Oh, yeah. I definitely confronted her. I mean, just like, I think the number one thing was just like, selfishness, essentially. I don't want to talk too much shit about her, but like, just because someone has a kid does not mean that the show is now not hers,
Wait, say that again?
Like, just because someone has a kid, just because a mom or a woman has a kid does not mean that now, like, the show is about the kid, I think that's one of the most common things that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this whole myth of the selfless mother who's sacrificing for that's false. That is false.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like, oh, she did so much for all the other people and blah, 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 whatever. It's like, no. You kind of, and don't get me wrong, a lot of them do a lot of stuff, but it's still like her show. You know what I mean? Like, it's still.
It's funny,
they'll
they'll do things for themselves and then convince you that they did it for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You're like, I didn't ask for that.
The world too. And they'll be like, oh no, but I did so much. And you're like, what? Like, I didn't want any of that. You know what I mean? Or like, you kind of had no choice in some situations. Like, oh, I worked so hard to keep a roof over our heads or whatever. And it's like, did you not want to have a roof over? Like, was this? If I wasn't part of this equation where you like, fuck, dude, I want to be homeless so bad, but I have this kid. I can't.
Or my favorite is, I gave birth to you. I'm like, you chose to do that. Like,
I know. The difference, like, I didn't murder you. You should be happy. It's like, okay, thanks. Yes, I appreciate that.
Like,
I appreciate you didn't succumb to one of the worst possible human traits.
I gave up so much. I gave up so much for you, while they proceed to give up nothing at all. Well, did you give up your job? Did you give up your job? No. Did you give up? Did you give up any? What'd you give up?
So much, Pearl. She gave up all of it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
The hero worship for motherhood is just insane, guys. Women are having less children. They're actually doing less. But mothers want all the credit, and everything men do and fathers do is just expected and automatic.
Yes.
Men create the internet, bridges, roads, air conditioning, buildings, and women will say, yeah, but women give birth and are mothers. That's all they got. That's all they have.
Yeah, literally. She kept a roof over your head, buddy. All right, so you gotta respect her.
And really, it's just taking credit, because let's be honest, the dad's the one fixing everything around the house. The dad, like, if there's a leak in the roof, she's not fixing it.
Yeah, it is wild.
The men make more anyways, but
Yeah. But it doesn't matter. It's weird. It's so weird. It really is like and one thing I've seen, this might sound a little crazy, but I think the people who constantly call other people narcissists are always narcissists. Like
100% true. 100%. Yeah. That's one of the reasons why you never hear men calling women that they date or their exes narcissists. It's only women.
Narcissist is not like something that a lot of guys are like constantly calling other people. You know what I mean? And it's fathers, and you're like, well, they're not focused all on them. I don't know, whatever.
Well,
really quickly, the Andrew Wilson stuff. What happened with that?
What do you mean, the debate?
Yeah, I mean, like, did he have a talk with his wife and then just go full feminist, or like what?
I mean, we just have a difference of opinion.
Like, he just seemed way different than normal.
Yeah, I mean,
all right, I won't talk shit then.
Yeah,
no.
He's a good guy. We just have a difference of opinion. So
yeah,
I like him.
Yeah, no, I do too. Yeah. He's a great guy.
But it was just like that just seemed like out of nowhere. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I think it's consistent with his worldview, right? Like, save the way. I mean, I would say it's consistent.
Is it?
Yeah, and Andrew,
think so?
Andrew and Rachel Wilson are good people. Pearl and Andrew and Rachel are all friends. So it's just, I just don't think that they're ever going to come to a consensus on the whole marriage thing. But other than that, man, Andrew and Rachel are great.
Yeah, I normally agree with you. I just I don't know, that came out of left field a little bit.
No,
and
go ahead.
The conversations I've heard Pearl have with Andrew are almost always just like them two being like, yeah, isn't it crazy?
Yeah,
what's going on with this?
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, that's like just the one thing that we disagree on.
Yeah,
maybe religion. I'm not that religious. I'm a degenerate.
Yeah, I get it. Me too.
Okay. Well, we're going to move on to the next caller. Call in anytime, man.
Yeah, call in anytime.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys.
Oh yeah. We're gonna let Shiv up real quick.
All right, yeah, I got him.
Okay. I'm gonna
Shiv
read.
the man.
Hold on, I'm gonna read the super chat before he goes. Apparently, there's one on the website I'm missing. Guys, if you do have a question, comment, or concern, feel free to put it on the website. We do have a live chat. Always going on the website. You don't have to pay for me to read your comment. You just put it on the live chat. Pearl, your setup is on spot tonight. Cracked it. This is the fashion from now on. Also, last thing, today's the last day to be enrolled in our school course for free, where we do have people teaching you how to improve your health, your wellness, your love life, and catching these hoes cheating and lying. We have PIs coming on, teach you how to catch your cheating before the ring, not after. But it's going to be expensive. I've been telling you guys that we're raising the price tomorrow. It's the last day. So if you want it, get it now. Hi, Shiv. Cook. Cook your mom. Cook her.
Oh, no, honestly, the worst thing is I will say too, women are so bad at picking their son, like who their son should marry. like every time I have a girl that it gets to a point where I tell my mom, like when she asks about dating, she always has like so much criticism, but it's all like, and then she'll like the girls that like were really toxic, she'd be like, oh, she seems nice, why didn't that like work out? So I will say, like, never ask your mom never even get relationship advice from your mom. Women just can't give good relationship advice in general.
Oh my gosh, every time I've asked my mom who I should date, she gives terrible advice too. Awful.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
Yeah.
So
no,
did your mom ever do anything toxic, and did you ever confront her? Are you scared to answer?
No. It's not even that. I just got lucky that I went to India for high school. I was born and raised here, but then I moved to India for high school, and we just had so much staff. And my mom was just a workaholic. My mom's like one of those people who's just always at work. So I kind of got lucky. I'd never had to deal with her. Right. Like in the nicest of ways, like it's, you would just come back from work and then go to bed. Like I had a cook, a maid, and we had chauffeur drivers in India. So it was almost better that way, in my opinion.
Because your dad stayed home, right?
Yeah, my dad's great. Oh, yeah. He's very chill. I think the hard part is like, yeah, my mom was very like, she like when it comes to planning stuff out, she's really bad. I will say that. Like if like she was just in town, she visited me in San Francisco, and she was like, oh, I want to do these things today. And I'm like, Mom, these things are 2 hours driving apart. Like we can't do it all today. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me yesterday when we were in this area? So yeah, I will say like that's one thing that she's really bad at. She just cannot plan things out well.
And they all think they're really good at planning is the worst part.
Have you ever had, honestly, like I've had girls plan out dates for me, like every once in a blue moon. Like I'll do the first 10 dates and then they'll be like, oh, like let me pick the next one. They always fuck it up. Like I can't tell you how many girls have forgot to get a reservation. Like when they've like been like, oh, we'll go to this restaurant. We show up to like the busiest restaurant. And then they go, oh, I just thought we could walk in. I'm like, what? You didn't know like we should get a reservation? Or like or they go like they'll bring their it's their friends and their friends are deathly allergic to peanuts, and then they'll go and pick a Thai restaurant where all the food's peanut based. Awful level planning. I mean, I could talk, it's not I don't know if we're going off topic, but I will say too, like I don't think women really appreciate when guys do stuff that's really special for them. Like they always like to say that I want a guy who just knows me and like hears me out, and like I love a guy who cares about attention to detail. And like you already know my story with the girl I'm dating, where she's a huge fan of the Warriors, get Warrior tickets, and I'm getting ghosted. So it's like, and then I know these are the same women who are like, guys aren't attention oriented, they don't pay attention to detail. I'm like, no, I listen to every one of those conversations, and that's why I know you're a Warriors fan. Hence why I bought the Warrior tickets.
And it's so much harder for you to listen to. We're not interesting. So you guys listening to us is way harder than us listening to you, because you guys are way more interesting than us.
And the other thing too is like I would rather go to the Warriors game with my boys, right? Because then if I drink a little too much or whatever, it's like none of my guy friends are gonna be like, dude, what the heck, you're slamming a second beer. But like girls, if I take them to the Warriors game, they'll be like, don't you think you drank too much? Don't you think this or whatever? Or like, hey, can you explain the whole game to me? Yeah, so it's I don't think women like understand that like I would rather go to this game with the boys. I'm doing this for her. Like I'm not doing this like
But you know why? One of the reasons why you'd rather go with your guy friends is because you don't have to filter yourself and try to. You don't have to stay present. How can I put this here? You act.
Yeah, you can just be yourself, right?
When a
Like
woman, exactly.
The worst advice
when a woman's around.
Yeah, the worst advice is when people are this is what girls will say too. If you ever ask girls for dating advice, they'll say just be yourself. Shiv, just
be confident, bro. Be confident.
That's the worst advice in the history of dating. And so no,
it's like I got laid when I was nothing
Shiv,
like
also,
myself.
One of the reasons why is here's the thing. Women, I dated surgeons, doctors, lawyers that are women, and they will not approach a man. They don't know how to do it. So why ask a woman who's never going to do it ever what you should do? Don't ever do it, guys. Don't ask a woman how to approach a woman. Don't ask a woman how to get laid because they're never going to do it ever.
Yeah, you almost can do the exact opposite of what your gut tells you to do, and that's closer to the truth in dating.
Whatever we say, do the opposite.
Yeah, just do literally the opposite. I'm not saying you'll end up like a Giga Chad, but you'll end up way better than your current situation.
We say give us flowers, and you punch her in the face, and she's more like she's statistically.
Doug, I want your opinion on this. So I've been seeing this girl for about 7 weeks, and she went to India for 9 days or whatever. So she didn't text me for the 9 days. Like she texted me at the airport and then went to India. Like, and I responded back like in an hour. So I knew she could have responded. And in India, she has there's a way she could have responded if she wanted to. She didn't. And then she texted me yesterday. And then I texted her with, hey, like I got Warrior tickets this Sunday if you want to go. And I still haven't heard back from her. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm thinking of when she responds back, because she'll probably respond back tomorrow and wait 2 days. I think I'm going to respond back with like, hey, I didn't hear from you, so I invited another girl I'm dating to the game, but maybe we can hang out next week. And just
I was literally going to say, if she's doing this, she shouldn't be the only girl that you're talking to.
No, correct, which I'm not. But she's
the
the one that up until this point I like the best, but she already has now slid a couple, because I can't believe you do something as nice as buy someone Warrior tickets who's a diehard Warriors fan. Mind you, these tickets aren't easy to get, right? I had points.
Yes, 100%.
But like it's still like and I'm just so pissed off because nothing is worse than when a guy goes out of his way for a girl he likes and then gets disrespected
all they have to do is show up and look pretty. Because I've been talking to Pro about this. I tell her my dating stories here in the big city I live in. And one of the biggest things for these women show up late, bro. They show up late, 45 minutes, an hour late. And it's just like, and a lot of people are like, whoa, she wouldn't show up if she liked you, bro. No, women just, they just don't respect men, period. It doesn't matter who you are.
It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter. The only way they will respect you is if you, like, if I invited her to Justin Bieber, it was just so she could flirt with Justin Bieber and find a new guy to monkey branch to. Then she'll show up on time, right? If there's like, there's more rich high level guys I could like try to like be conniving with, then she'll show up on the dot. But like honestly, the other problem too, I find like going back to like why I'd rather go to the game with the boys is like little things, right? Like if I go with my guy friends to the Warriors game, if one of them's going to go get a beer, they'll just ask me like, hey, can I get you a beer? A girl will just make you leave the game at your favorite part of the game to go get her a drink or new food, or like she won't know how to direct you to the stadium or how to get through the VIP seating or whatever. So like at least the boys, we'll divide and conquer and like try to make this where we can all shut our brains off a little bit. But when you're with a chick, you have to always be on high alert. I mean, like you're always thinking about, now I have to like show her there, and God forbid if I like get lost in the stadium for 6 seconds, she's gonna think less of me. So I better nail where my seats are on the first get-go.
I mean, ladies in the chat. I mean, he's got a slot available. What is the game? Sunday?
this Sunday 7 p.m. Chase Center. Is anyone in San Francisco?
Yeah.
Dude, honestly, I'm down to meet. I like it.
Size 8 or smaller. Too. Size 8 or smaller dress size. Otherwise, get out of here. Under 30.
Yeah, it's just it's just about respecting a man's time and effort. And women want a man to show effort, but they don't want to respect that effort because they never have to put that effort out. And that's the thing with women getting older. Women don't have to start putting out effort until they smash into the wall when they're 35. But then anything that you're good at, it takes practice. So it's like they have to start putting in effort. They don't know how, they're not good at it, and they've already smashed into the wall. So the only time you're going to see women respecting your time is usually when it's too late. They usually have had kids already, they're broke, and they need help, all that stuff.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, actually, Doug, I have a question for you, which is, you know, for me, my way I kind of handle this with like women who do stuff is I just move on, right? I just have this belief like there's no matter what you say to a woman, it's not like they're gonna take your advice or critique. They're just gonna be women, right? So for me, a lot of times in like a situation where she ghosts me, like I'm just gonna go invite another girl this Sunday and just ignore her and move on with my life. But there's a part of me that sometimes wants to like, of course my male brain wants to text her and be like, you know why I'm pissed off. But
don't do that.
Right, I know. And like that's the most frustrating part is like women are never going to get the feedback because we know what's going to happen if we give them the feedback.
So here's the thing. I'll challenge you on this. Women have this need and desire for closure. Ask any guy who breaks up with some crazy chick who wants to come over and have sex one last time for closure, and he gets her pregnant. A lot of guys end up getting a girl pregnant. I'm going to come over. I need closure, right? Just stop explaining yourself to women. If you've already moved on, if she tries to contact you, just don't pick up, don't answer. And if a couple of weeks go by and she's really trying, then maybe pick up. And then if you pick up, just act like nothing happened, and just see if she wants to move forward. But don't give them closure. Don't give them an explanation. Just keep it moving. That's like ghosting. Guys, ghost women. Ghost them.
Agreed.
You don't owe these women an explanation. You don't owe them anything. Women feel and who did we learn all this stuff from, guys?
Women.
From women when we were younger. They don't like it being thrown back at them. So move on, and just don't give her any kind of explanation. Don't even pick up. Now, if you have the bandwidth, if it's not above your comfort convenience level, and in a week or 2 or 3, hit her up. And if you do, just keep it moving. She's gonna ask, "Well, what happened?" Just be like, "Nothing. You want to meet up or not?"
It's so true. So true. They're just so bad at picking, and they have no idea. Like, the worst part is, I bet you this girl doesn't realize I'm spinning plates. Like, that's the even sillier part. Like, she probably thinks, oh, like, because I'm like cordial on dates, right? But
yeah,
the irony is like, yeah. And then they go like, I don't get it. Why did he go cold? It's like,
well,
dude, like these girls get the red carpet treatment, and then they still can't walk on the red carpet. They have to go fuck off and like see a little pottery barn or like some little like flower shop and just go off into the distance.
Think about this for a second. She hasn't talked to you since she left on a trip, and then you stop communicating, but you have the problem.
Right. Now, mind you, this. In fact, I was mad that I ended up getting the Warrior tickets because, you know, the season's ending, and then like the odds of me being able to go across the street to Chase Center and go to this game is limited, right? So I just know like, hey, there's a chance they're gonna play this Sunday. I have Amex points. It was like pretty cheap with my thing with Amex, so I was like, I'll get the tickets. And now in hindsight, I go, so I rewarded bad behavior. She didn't text me in 9 days, and she got Warrior tickets out of it. So I'll take the simple word for that. My bad. Lesson learned, right? But holy shit, like I think that right there is why women act the way they do, is because they never really suffer from their bad consequences until they hit the wall. They get all of it kind of at 35 or 40 years old. In their 20s, they just don't get the feedback.
The Cougars treat you real nice, huh?
It's true. No, it's true. It's true. And honestly,
the Cougars are desperate. Go ahead.
It's the two extremes, right? It's either like the 18, 19-year-old girls or like the Cougars. Because like 18, 19, they're just naive enough, like where they just don't know much of the world if you get one that hasn't experienced too much. Mm-hmm. So there's some fun there. But yeah, and then the Cougars, because the Cougars know they know
but then the 18-year-olds, 19, they go to the city and they're like, see ya, you know.
No, the 18-year-olds you can enjoy 1 or 2 months with them. You get 1 or 2 months tops, right? Yeah, but once you take them to Nobu once, it's over, because then they go meet the other guy who can take them to Nobu. But like, you get to be the first.
The two most powerful things a man has in the current society is one, the ability to walk away, and two, the ability to determine who his girlfriend, fiance, and wife is. Don't let any woman, anybody ever take those two powers away from you, because that's what society is trying to do. So, and walking away means just the worst thing you can do to a woman is go cold, man. Go cold. This woman, let her come back, try to reach out and just move on. And I've been telling Pearl about this. You got to set a comfort and convenience level and make sure that you're not going past it. If she's reaching out to you and texting you maybe a week or two from now and you're just bored, or maybe you want to see her again, just pick it up, but don't give her any kind of explanation. Don't do it. Well, why'd you go cold? I texted you when I got back. Be like, I don't want to talk about it. You want to meet up or not? Best thing to do.
No, 100%. No, I think honestly, it's just so obvious to me because this girl's 29. It's so obvious, like that, like she's on thin ice of like ending up 40 with a bunch of cats, childless, and not married. Like a lot of these women, it's right at that. I'm telling you, like I just noticed, like some of these girls at 28, 29, when they have these behaviors, are like cooked. Like they're not realizing like, hey, clock's a ticking. You know, like time, like. You don't get to play the games like you're 21 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And that blows my mind. It blows my mind when girls are 29 and they still are just as annoying in text messages as they were at 21.
Well,
Guys,
wait till you reach your... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Shiv, I put your Twitter in the chat if there's any ladies.
And also...
Send your dress size. Send your weight. That's who you got to start with. Weight. Yeah. Weight, height, age. Go ahead.
Wait till you hit your mid-30s and 40s and you see all these women that curbed you in their 20s, single mothers, fat, trauma, broke. Bro, it's beautiful, man. It is.
Oh yeah,
beautiful.
you know how I know that? Because like I was looking up like my middle school and high school classmates on Facebook, and the ones that have the girls that have deleted their accounts or haven't like posted a new photo in a long time, it's because they're fat and like fell off the wagon and they're not married, right? Like it's so fascinating to see that. Like girls will be so hot on social media and then they hit like 35 and then they realize like they screwed it all up and then magically like their last photo on Facebook's from like 8 years ago, but. You know,
yeah. Just wait till you start having when you hit your mid to late 30s, all of your ex-girlfriends will be hitting you up. Every single ex-girlfriend I've ever had has hit me up on social media about for my 20s and my 30s. Every single one of them.
Oh, I believe it. No, it's crazy too, because like, you know, these are the girls that will look at me or my lifestyle and think I'm a player. And the truth is, I would have been exclusive with this chick. She's my favorite in the rotation. So, and now she totally fucked that opportunity, right? But like, that's the hilarious part that girls don't realize is like, no, even guys who like spin plates, like if the girl shows enough qualities, like eventually we got shit to do, right? Like
exactly.
We got shit to do. I would rather just work all day and have a consistent girlfriend at home, but they keep doing these like micro. It's a death of a thousand cuts with these women, right? Mm-hmm. And guys just don't have time for it, especially guys who have real careers and real things going on. It's like, dude, I already have a million problems in my business. You think I need a million more with my girlfriend? Like, fuck no, fuck no.
Well, we got to close out the show because I got to go to my sister's graduation. But thanks for calling, Shiv.
Nice. Wait, is it college or graduation? You can give them my Twitter handle too. What? Oh, never mind. They're 18 on their birthday and above. Give me my Twitter handle.
All right, bye, Shiv.
Yeah. Bye.
All right, buddy. Always good talking to you.
Yeah, I know. I do have 3 sisters, fellas in the chat, but stay away. Yeah, we're not. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I'm Doug MP. Any final thoughts on mothers?
Guys, once you become an adult and you pay your own bills, you don't owe your mother anything, man. And you are able to set the rules and regulations that people have to abide by socially to be able to interact with you. If your mother's a scumbag, she's a scumbag, and you don't have to deal with it. This whole, what about your family? And she's your mother. Nah, man. Once you're an adult, you get to decide. So don't let your don't let your mother treat you like garbage. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Thanks so much for calling in, Doug MPI. It's a pleasure as always. Guys, please like the video on your way out and subscribe, and it's the last day. Shiv is going to download all of the active emails to put into the school group. So the school group tomorrow, it's the app school, and we're going to put in basically the education part of our platform is going on to there. So whoever's on the Audacity website, as a thank you for supporting me the last year, I will put you guys also into the school group. This is going to be a high-end group worth, it's going to cost a couple grand to get in. Right now you can get it for $100 a year, $10 a month. On the 15th, you're not going to be able to get that. And I do mean it this time. Also, if you want to donate to the documentary, feel free. And if you are interested in a large donation, please email me justpearlythings@gmail.com. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.